tell me this. I remember you did an interview with Eddie Hobbs, and then I never saw it. Where did it go?
Yeah, that's the missing interview. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, great, because Eddie, listen, whatever we say about
That's
Eddie.
like the great rock bands of the 70s. They always had a missing album, you know. But
Yeah.
well, what happened around that, actually, and this has come up in the last couple of weeks. I've only met. I don't know Eddie Hobbs as a friend. I've met him twice. I met him at the COVID people's vaccine thing in Dublin back in October, I think it was, where I gave about a 10-minute speech at it, and he did a round table, which I was there when it was on, and I spoke to him maybe for 2 minutes there, and I met him at the Who thing in Dublin. Was it the previous January or something? And met him is the wrong word. I shook his hand, and I was in his company for a few minutes. So we don't know each other, but in November, he rang me and asked me, would I do one of his counterpoint? You know, he does fantastic interviews with people, and his intention was to use it when he was launching this book he was doing about the whole totalitarianism in the world and how it's been, about the whole situation, the New World Order, about a really broad book. And I don't know if you've read the book, but I've read it. It's a fantastic job. And I said I would. I mean, I was proud to do it. It didn't matter. So I said yes, and we did it. I think we did it in the middle of November or something like that. And when it came out, what happened then is Eddie launched the book sometime in December, and the book was free. But if you paid something for the book, I can't remember how much it was, maybe €20, €15, you got an exclusive interview with Patrick E Walsh and Claire Craig and I think Dr. Pat Morrissey and someone else. Oh, that's fine. I wasn't asked was it going to be paywalled. It wouldn't. I would have done it anyway. Didn't care. I was happy to put it out there, and that was it. And I've admired Eddie for a long time. So after that I did pay for the book and got the interviews, but I never watched mine because I don't watch these things back. You drive yourself insane. So I never watched it, and I really had a rough time around then, November, December, January, and I just didn't. It was gone. You know, it was over. I didn't care. But last week or the week before, someone sent me 2 clips. The first clip was Eddie's doing a kind of a tour of Ireland at the moment, going around to, and he's, I think 700-800 people coming into meetings. He's not charging money. He's doing a full presentation like the stuff he used to do on RTE, calling people out for what they are, and it's on a world scale. It's a global scale, and he's explaining the whole totalitarianism thing. I watched one of them through from 6 or 7 months ago. So, but this was a recent one. I don't know where it was. And the person said to me, look at the clip. I think it was about 70 minutes in for 5 minutes, where Eddie talks about excess deaths. And so it's only a small piece in the whole presentation. Now he talks about Denny Rancourt pointing out there was no pandemic and that all the all-cause mortality was caused by lockdown policies, by unnecessary medical interventions, and by the COVID vaccines. That's Denny Rancourt's point. He then moves on to say Edward Dowd released a book about died suddenlies, and he put a figure on what he thinks the excess deaths in America were caused by the vaccines. Now, on the screen, he has these figures from Ed Dowd with Ed Dowd's picture, and 2022 is up in the corner. And Eddie goes on to say, he says, I don't want to get this wrong in Eddie's behalf, so people can go and look at it. But basically, he said, I used Ireland's population compared to England and America, and we're healthier, and you worked out a pro rata figure for excess deaths for Ireland, and it's 5,000. Now, Eddie didn't say it was 5,000 for all the time since 2021. He didn't say it was for 2022. He just said it, and he moved on. Now, he was just moved on, and I can understand, because Eddie doesn't read from notes when he's doing it. He speaks from the heart, and he speaks from the head. So the impression went out. The person who sent it to me, they got the impression that Eddie was saying there was only 5,000 excess deaths in Ireland. And Eddie wasn't saying that, as far as I'm concerned, because the person also sent me the video, they recorded it, of my interview with Eddie, and I went back and watched it, and Eddie is superb in it. The whole video is an hour long. We cover I'll just give you an idea of what we cover in an hour. We cover how RIP.ie is so effective in this matter and showing up excess deaths, and then lack of excess deaths in 2020. We covered the pull forward effect. We covered the Ed Dowd situation, and he actually talks about using the pro rata figures. And in the video, he comes up with 19,000 using the pro rata, and I was saying 20, 21,000. So I know Eddie understands this stuff, and he knows it's right. And we talk about coroner reports. We talk about the Wright Putler verdict. We talk about the excess medical deaths in the 15 to 20-year-olds in Ireland. And we talk about the difficulty of people waking up to all this stuff coming at them. So Eddie knows this stuff. And in that video, a few people have said to me, they used the phrase dynamite. And I watched it. I had to watch it after the person sent it because to see what he was going on about. And it is dynamite, not because I'm in it, because Eddie Hobbs does what he did when he tormented RTE and the Irish state back in the 90s and 2000s. He nails it to the ground.
So we need this released. We need to see it, because Middle Ireland needs to have a look at this, and especially they'll have a better chance of engaging because they know Eddie Hobbs from RTE from all the years. So why isn't it being released to the wider public for free, not behind a paywall?
Well, we'll give you an exclusive here today, actually. Patrick E Walsh Enterprises are going to release it. I'll release it on my Substack, and I will link it to somewhere on YouTube for people who are not in there as well. However long it'll last in YouTube, that's another
So
matter.
you actually have it?
Yeah, well, I told you that person sent me, they copied it on a mobile phone or something and sent it to me.
Okay.
It actually looks very retro. Wait till you see it, because it's someone's iPad sitting on a table, and they must be holding a phone or something in front of it. And I think it might set new design for videos going out there.
But what will Eddie think? So Eddie's obviously put it behind a paywall for a reason. So, so it's going to have less people looking at it, a lot less people. So it could have hundreds of thousands. It could have. But now are you not crossing the line with him? I mean, this is kind of funny one, isn't it? It's a bit awkward, really.
Awkward for who? For me?
For Eddie, I suppose. I mean, if it's filmed, if he hasn't released it officially, if he hasn't actually...
Okay, well, if we're talking legalese here, I didn't sign anything. I never agreed for anything to be behind the paywall. So I think Eddie knows that. Eddie's not trying to put one over on me. I don't believe that.
Why doesn't he just release it to the public?
I don't understand how. There was clips put out of the other people. The other ones weren't released in full, as far as I know. There was no clip put out of mine. Again, I'm fairly certain of that because I'm sure I would have seen it, or he would have told me or whatever. So.
Right. Well, we'll watch it. I mean, the concern always is, is he gatekeeping? Is there some kind of gatekeeping going on? And everybody gets this. I mean, I think everybody, including myself, anybody out here talking about this stuff, has to be open to cross-examination. You, me, Eddie, everybody. Because that's the way it is at the moment. Things are fraught, and there are agendas at play.